Hello everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name's Amanda and in today's video we are going to be taking a closer look at the new Platinum Nail Art Flakes from Kiki London, and we're going to be popping them in some nail art designs and just having a lot of fun with them. So I really hope you all enjoy watching. Now there are 6 different colours in the Platinum Flakes collection, and these are what they look like when they're applied over a black base. Of course you can apply them over any colour of your choice and do a multitude of different designs with them, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing in today's video, with a bit of a kind of like a 90s Christmas look. I wanted to do like a really fun over the top set of nails, so I really hope that you like these as much as I did. Now to start off with, I am working on display tips. Of course if you were working on yourself or a client, you would need to do all of your prep and base coat first of all, but I'm jumping straight in, and on these 2 nails here I'm going to do 2 coats of Kiki London's classic black. Now whenever you are working with a highly pigmented shade like a black, you do need to make sure that you're keeping your coats nice and thin. So I'm just doing this in 2 thin coats and curing each coat for 30 seconds. And as I said, I'm going to do this on 2 of the nails. So I did exactly the same on the other nail, but I did that one off camera. These 2 nails are going to be very similar. They're going to have the same bases, but we're going to do a little bit of a different design on top. So on to the flakes. What I'm going to do on these 2 nails is apply all of the different color flakes, so all 6 flakes, into that tacky inhibition layer that's left behind after you've cured classic black. So I'm just trying to pick up a little bit of each color, placing it down into that tacky layer and trying to just make sure that I'm only applying a little bit of each color so that we've got room to squeeze in all 6 of these shades. And I wanted this set to, like I said, I just wanted it to be really fun and quite random looking, and in my mind I had the 90s Christmas look, you know, when all the different decorations were just like a multitude of different colors, and there wasn't this nice clean aesthetic vibe to Christmas. It was just crazy. That's the kind of look that I want you to go with. And then when I looked at the flakes, I was just like, wow, these flakes do that exact look. So I placed them all down onto the nail, and then there I was just pressing them down with the silicone tool and just showing you guys that I was running the silicone tool along the tip of the nail just to remove any excess flakes that were along that tip of the nail, because you don't really want them hanging off or coming over the edge of the nail, especially when you're working on shorter nails, because it's going to be harder to encapsulate in your top coat. And then we're just doing exactly the same. So I'm using the little applicator tool that comes with the Platinum Flakes. You get 1 of these with each color, and then I'm just picking up all 6 of those colors and dabbing them in, kind of just gently patting them down. And then I'm going to come in with the silicone tool and not rub over the top of the nail, because that will burnish the flakes in. I'm just rubbing along the sides and then gently patting over the top of the nail just to make sure they're lying nice and flat. You want to make sure they are lying as smooth as you can get them before you come in and top coat, so that you don't have any sticking up in your top coat. Then talking of top coat, we're going to come in with the no wipe rubber top coat and seal all of those flakes in. And you could leave these nails like this if you wanted to. I wanted to come in and pop some nail art over the top of them, but if you wanted to leave them like this, you could just do your 1 coat of rubber top coat, and then that would be the design finished. Now the rubber top coat does require a 60-second cure, so we've cured that for 60 seconds, and then over the top of these I'm going to stamp 2 different stamped images. And I wanted to use these little Christmas decoration ones because they're just going to be the outlines, and then the foils underneath you're going to still be able to see all those crazy colors. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So I've picked up my first image, and I'm just removing any excess that I don't want to stamp down. I'll talk you through how I stamp on the next image, and then I'm simply going to look through my stamper and place this down on the nail. And this is really important why we popped that top coat down first, because it would have been really tricky to stamp directly over the flakes. So it is really important that you top coat before you do your stamping. So to clean my stamping plate, I always use the Kiki London gel polish remover. Just give it a good clean. If you don't have this, you can also clean your plates with some acetone as well. So I'm just going to remove the previous stamping polish. I'm going to get my next nail ready, and one of the most important things about stamping is working nice and quickly. So it's always better to have all of your items close to hand. I'm going to add a generous amount of stamping polish, scrape off the excess, quick flick of the wrist with my stamper, and as you can see, it's picked up that image beautifully. And then I'm just going to remove anything that I don't want to press down onto the nail. And then looking through my stamper, I'm just going to place this roughly 3/4 of the way down the nail, going a bit more towards that cuticle area. And then I just give it a good press, a little wriggle from side to side, and as you can see, that image has transferred beautifully. Now we do need to top coat again to seal in our stamping, but we're going to do all of the final layer of top coat together at the end of all of the nail art. So moving on to the next design, I'm doing 2 coats of Kiki London's Ivy Forest. Now this particular design I see done by one of the Kiki London ambassadors on Instagram. Her name on Instagram is If Claws Could Kill, and she done this really pretty look with ivy forest, green foils and green tinsel. And I don't know the steps she took to do it, but I really love the effect that it gave off, so I thought I would try a very similar design but using the flakes instead of the foils. So I've done my 2 coats of ivy forest. This is such a beautiful color for Christmas, by the way. And then what I'm going to do is, again, we've done our 2 coats, so we've got the tacky inhibition layer left behind from the gel polish, and then I'm going to pick up my green flakes and press these down into that tacky layer. I don't want to cover the entire nail. I do still want there to be a little bit of that ivy forest poking through. So I'm just tapping these down, making sure, like before, that they're lying nice and flat and that we've not got any excess coming off the nail. It was a little bit easier to do where we're not covering the entire nail, but I just do like to come over with the silicone tool just to make sure they are stuck down nicely. And this is what it looks like over the ivy forest. So this look on its own is quite pretty, but then we're going to take green tinsel, which is a glitter gel polish, but it's kind of like a jelly green gel polish, and then it's got the green tinsel glitter particles in it. Then we're going to come over the foils with this, and it kind of hides the foils. It changes the color of them a little bit because of the jelly effect in the gel polish, but it looks really, really pretty. It kind of adds a little bit of depth to the nail because in certain lights you can still see those foils poking through. And the great thing about this design is you can pair it up with lots of different colors to create different combinations and different effects. I think it would look really pretty with a red. So for example, you could use ruby red, then apply your platinum red flakes, and then maybe come over the top with firebolt. So I'm definitely going to play around with a few combinations and see what I come up with. On to the next design, and we're going to come in with 2 coats of Pamper Me. Now Pamper Me is an absolutely gorgeous warm toned nude, so I really love it for winter Christmassy nail art. It's just a really, really beautiful shade, and the reason I wanted to include some nudes in this design is because I wanted to show you guys that the platinum flakes don't necessarily need to be popped over a dark base. They will still pop over a nude or a lighter shade as well. So I've done 2 coats of Pamper Me. Again, we've kept that tacky inhibition layer on our cured gel polish, and on the first design I'm going to take the gold and silver platinum flakes, and what we're going to do is on this now we're going to use our ombre brush to apply them because I don't want to apply too many of them. I kind of just want to have a few of them on the nail. So using the ombre brush to do this, because it's got those bristles that sort of go thinner, it just makes application of the flakes really easy, in my opinion, just if you want to pick up a small amount and add them to an isolated area on the nail. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm using my ombre brush, dipping into those flakes, picking up just a few on my brush at a time, and then placing them down onto that tacky layer of cured gel polish. I did clean off my brush between the gold and the silver, and this is something that's really important when you're working with these flakes. They do get everywhere and they do make a lot of mess, so you need to make sure that you are cleaning your brushes, your silicone tool, whatever you're using to apply them with, between each color or after each use is better actually, because otherwise I just found that you end up with them everywhere and you end up with quite a sparkly looking nail desk as well. So once I'd got them applied, again I pressed over them with the silicone tool because I do like to make sure they're nicely stuck down and laying nice and flat. Same as on the first design, we're going to seal those flakes in before we come in with our second layer of nail art. So I've come in with my rubber top coat, just floated on a layer of this gently, because again if you go in too hard you end up with the flakes on your brush, so you want to just gently float on a layer of your rubber top coat. The rubber top coat works best for encapsulating the flakes in because it is that little bit thicker, but whatever top coat you are using, you do need to be careful that you're not picking up any of the flakes on your top coat brush and then popping that brush back into your bottle of top coat, because then that top coat will get contaminated with the flakes. It is probably advisable to have a separate top coat that you use for any of your nail art, so your chromes, your powders, your glitters, your flakes, because then you're not going to be contaminating your bottle that is for going over your gel polish colors where you're not adding any sparkles. So on this now, we're going to come over the top of those flakes with some water decals. I really love a layered look, especially when I'm doing abstract nails. So I thought I would do some layered foils and water decals because that's such a fun thing to do, layering up nail art. Like, I think these platinum flakes will look amazing layered with stamping, crystals, water decals. When it comes to nail art, the possibilities are endless. So I've cut out my water decals as close to the image as possible, popped them in some room temperature water for around 10 to 15 seconds, peeled off the backing paper and then place them down on the nail. And then I'm just using the silicone tool to squeegee out some of that water. And then before we go in and top coat, you do need to make sure that you remove any excess of the water decal that's hanging over the edge of the nail. I like to do this by applying a little bit of acetone to my angled nail art brush and just running it along, and it will melt away any of that excess water decal. And then we're going to pop that aside and top coat once we have finished the final nail. And this is the final nail. We have already done our 2 coats of Pamper Me, and I wanted to do a platinum flake fade, and I thought the red would look beautiful for this, especially against that nude base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by taking my ombre brush again, just so that I can control the amount of flakes that I'm picking up. And then I'm going to start off with a small amount right at that cuticle area and build up the coverage here. Like with any kind of fade, you want an area where there's full coverage and then it starts fading out. And then that's what we're doing here. We're pulling off some of those smaller flaky particles and pulling them down the nail to create that fade effect. And what I'm also doing is I'm using the belly of the brush on the ombre brush to pat them down as we do this, just so they're not flying around too much and we're keeping them where we want them to be. I absolutely loved how this looked, and it gave me an idea to do a full set of ombre flake nails with some snowflakes hand painted over the top. So I'm going to try and get that done because I think that will look super pretty for Christmas or winter. But how gorgeous do these red flakes look over the Pamper Me? I think the 2 colours just complemented each other beautifully. So this is what all of our design looks like. It is a little bit crazy and it is a little bit over the top, but it was a lot of fun to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come in and top coat our final layer of top coat to seal everything in. And I wanted to add in a combination of glossy top coat and matte top coat. So the first 2 nails I actually wanted to have a matte finish because I wanted to see what those flakes would look like matte. And then I also thought it would help the stamping stand out a little bit more if our flakes underneath were matte. So we're going to come over the top of those 2 nails and pop our matte top coat on. Now the matte top coat goes on glossy, you pop it into cure, and then just like magic, the nails come out with a matte finish. On the remaining nails, we're going to use the no wipe rubber top coat. So these nails are all going to have a glossy finish. Now when you are applying your top coat, you want to make sure that you're floating it over the top of the nail, applying a nice thin even layer, even though it is a thicker consistency product, and you want to make sure that you're capping your free edge as well. So once we had done that on all 5 of the nails, we popped them into cure for 60 seconds. And then this, guys, was the finished result. I absolutely loved them. Like I said, they were so much fun to do, but do let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know what you are thinking of the new platinum flakes. Have you purchased them? If so, have you tried them out yet? As always, all of the products I've used will be linked in the description box below. If you did enjoy today's video, please do give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment below. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I would absolutely love it if you did. Do check out all the previous videos. There's been some extra ones recently. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you all so much for watching. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.